Welcome you all students to your next grade of 6th standard. In your class 5th, you have learnt about the circulatory and skeletal system of the human body, food and health, pollination, sound and noise, solid, liquid and gases, work and energy, etc. are combined in the name of one subject known as science. Here, we are going to learn about the divisions and branches of science as separate subject known as physics, chemistry and biology. Today, I am going to teach you a subject known as physics. Before we move on to our subject, we just recall about the basic in science which we have learnt in our previous classes. You have learnt in your previous classes that what sets us apart from all the animals is our ability to think. Yes, you know the major difference between the animals and the human beings were senses. Animals have 5 senses and humans have 6 senses. The 5 senses of the animals are touch, sight, taste, smell and hearing. And the 6 senses of the humans are common like animals such as touch, taste, sight, smell and hearing. But we are different from the one senses which is known as thinking, and this is the 6th sense of the human beings. At the beginning, when we still had not developed this ability of thinking, we are not sufficiently to understand the things around us. So, we lived almost like all other animals in fear of our surroundings. Gradually, as our understanding improved, we started making changes in our surroundings to make our life safer and more comfortable. Through the ages, this process has made us what we are today. Even today, our knowledge improves continuously and helps us enrich the quality of our lives. We know that our home planet is known as Earth. Earth has more events occurring on it that we can imagine. These events involve living organisms, animal structures, things which we can see, those which we can't see, events that amaze us and those which terrify us. The very formation of our Earth was another massive event. These events brings with that a large number of questions that arise out of curiosity to explain or understanding the world we live in. The world around us, if you ever wonder that what is going on and how these events takes place or why is it so? Well done. You are not alone. These questions running in your minds of millions of people every second and every day. The answer to all this question is simple, which lies in one name and one word called science. Science is derived from the Latin word scientia, which means knowledge. It also means to know, knowledge gained through the experience, facts or principles gained by the systematic study. The clear definitions of the sciences: science is a systematic study of the structure and behavior of the natural and physical world through the observations and experiments. Once more, science is a systematic study of the structure and behavior of the natural and physical world. How? Through the observations and experiments. Now I am going to explain you about observations and experiments. Observations are gathered through your senses and it identifying and clearly defining the problem, where experiments are a procedure to test a hypothesis, conducting control attempts to test one or more hypotheses. It also includes recording and analyzing results. In simply, we can say that observation is to observe the problem and experiment is to test the problem. The science includes the study of the earth, air, water, climate, plants, animals and everything that surrounds us. It also includes the study of the way of how our body works, the way things around us change the way the heavenly bodies move, and many other things. Through centuries of study, we have accumulated a vast amount of knowledge that must be divided into smaller parts for our convenience. This is why we divide a science into two groups, which is the study of the living beings and the study of the non-living things. The first group is called as the life science and the second group is called as the material science. The life science is divided into the two groups called zoology and botany, and material science is divided into three groups called chemistry, physics and geology. Each of these can also be divided again. All these subjects that together make up science are also called as disciplines. Now we move on to our subject, which is known as physics. First, what is physics? It is derived from the Greek verb physis, which means nature or natural things. Physics is known as the branch of science and it includes the study of the interactions between physical systems. And the science includes the matter, energy, space and time. The most general description of physics is that it is a study of nature and its law, and it considers the properties of matter and energy as nature. You know already that everything in the universe basically consists of matter and energy, and you will learn more about the matter and energy in this book. Physics covers most of our activities and many of the things that go on around us. Therefore, we wonder how it is possible to study all these things. Yes, the task is made simpler if you have an understanding of the law of physics and which you can apply to most of the happenings around us. Here are some of the laws: Avogadro's law, Archimedes' principle, Ohm's law, Newton's law, Coulomb's law, Stephen's law of energy, Pascal's law, Hooke's law, Bernoulli's law, Boyle's law, Charles' law, Kepler's law, law of conservation, Tyndall effect, Graham's law. There are many laws in the physics and these are some of the important laws on physics. Now I am going to take Newton's law. In Newton's law there are three laws. In this I am going to take about the Newton's third law. According to Newton's third law, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. One of the examples of Newton's law: consider a book lying on a table. Students, just imagine that a book is lying on a table. The weight of the books is acting on the table in a downward direction. This is known as the action. The reaction of the table acts on the books in the upward direction as shown in the figure. So, therefore, learning these laws and knowing how to apply them is like learning the alphabet of the grammar of a language. Once you know a language, you can read any book or express anything you feel. Similarly, once you know the laws of physics, you will understand why these things are happening and how the way they do. You can understand the concept of physics. Now we move on to the pleasures of physics. Pleasures, which means excitements and enjoyments. Physics also have all these excitement and enjoyments. But when, as you gradually explore this subject, you will become aware of the benefits and pleasures. These are the applications of physics in almost everything that you see around you. All the uses of electricity around you, the different modes of transport and communication, and most of the gadgets or appliances of daily use have been made possible by the application of physics in various ways. Now we see how physics is applied in the sports. When you watch athletes doing the high jump, you notice that when they go over the bar, they face upwards, like you see in this image, with the whole body bent like a bow over the bar. This style was introduced by an athlete named Doug Fosbury, who was a student of the physics and applied his knowledge to the sports, and he won the Olympic gold medal in 1968. Like this, many application of sports is due to the physics. A lot of people may not know it, but physics has a lot to do with the wonderful world of sports. So, how is physics related to sports? Let us see. Some may you see many students would complain because they do not know why they have to learn all about physics. Some will say that they would not need it in the future for they do not dream to be a physicist someday or they just cannot see the reason why. They do not know that physics can be used in relation to sports. You students need to understand and apply the physics in your day-to-day life and you want to know how and why. First you have to know the definition of physics. Physics is a study of anything that related to matter and motion that I already said. And now how it apply in the sports? Just see another example. In the track and field also have a relation to Newton's law. Did you ever notice that when a runner reaches the final line, instead of suddenly stopping at the end, they will still be running for a few steps and then eventually stop? What you are seeing during that event is a law of inertia or also the first law of Newton. Also in this type of sports, the second law of Newton's can also be applied. Of course, in basketball is one of the most popular sports in our modern world today. Yes, the player could be a great basketball player without the help of knowing the physics reason behind it, but it will help in understanding some of the tricks they do in the court. The spin of the ball skill has something to do with the velocity and not the air resistance. Like this, all the applications of physics are applied to the sports. You can gain more knowledge and you will be able to win. As you understanding the physics, it increases you will begin to understand how all these things actually work. A whole new world will gradually open up before your eyes. Now, physics is applied in all the field and it extends well in your day-to-day life. Describing the motions, forces and energy of ordinary experiences in actions such as walking, driving a car or using a phone, physics is at work. So, physics is not only restricted to apply to a technology, but we can also apply it to solve our social problems. I hope students that you understand about the science and you understand about the knowledge of physics. So, now here is your worksheet. Here are some of the questions that you need to find the answer for all the questions. First question is, what is science? You need to write generally about science and definition of science. Second question is, write any two real life examples applying the Newton's third law. Like I say one example of the book lying on the table. Like this, you need to write any two real life examples with your own by applying the Newton's third law. Third question is, what is climate change? You need to write how the climate would be changed and what is the reason for it. And fourth question is, write any two sports and explain how physics is applied in these sports. Yes, now I give an example for track and field, basketball and for the high jump. Like this, you need to search and write any two sports and how it applied into the physics. Fifth question is, draw the chart of branches of science. We already saw that science is divided into two groups, living and non-living. And in living, it consists of life science, and in non-living, it consists of the material science. And again, life science divided into zoology and botany, and material science divided into physics, chemistry and geology. Like this, you need to write and submit. Okay, I hope that you understand and clear about our today's topic. Thank you, students.